Hey there, Dad you never had here again. Today I am at a relative's house. She has a car that she says she knows nothing about. She's getting ready to take a trip. So I was asking her a couple questions and realized, many people don't know much about cars, which is fine. You can't know everything about everything, but I will give you a few tips of what I'm going to check right now to help get her ready for this trip. Look at her tires, air pressure, the different fluids. She learned how to tell tire size, and I can show you how to do that too. All right, let's get started. Okay, she got these two new tires put on, and when she was calling me to ask me, how do you find the tire size? I asked her, were they 16, 17, 18-inch tires? But anyway, if you look at the side of your tires, you're going to see these numbers. See where you see this? This is 235, 65, R17. So R17 means it's a radial tire and it's a 17-inch wheel. Okay, just so you know your terms, this part is the wheel, or also sometimes called the rim. This is called the tire. So if you go into a shop, they're going to use these terms. So these are your wheels. You probably won't ever buy those in the life of your car unless you want to jazz up your car. And these are your tires, which you will replace. So you have to get the same size tire as you have wheel. So she has a 17-inch wheel, so she needs a 17-inch tire. Those other numbers refer to this thickness and then how wide they are across. Okay, while we're down here, these are her brakes. You can see she recently got new brakes, and the brakes squeeze this part of the wheel, which is called the rotor. And if you look at this rotor, you can see it's nice and shiny. It's not all scratched up. That's good. When people do not replace the brake pads, you get squealing because it's metal on metal, and then this scratches or scores up the rotor, and then you have to replace this whole piece. It's not the same as the wheel. They do come apart, but that's the rotor. It's the metal part, and the brakes squeeze it to make the car stop. Now this car has four-wheel disc brakes, I can tell, because there's a rotor here instead of a drum. A drum, you wouldn't see this. Drums are only in the rear. Almost always you're going to have disc in the front. Okay, so that's her tire. On the tire, a lot of times they print a pressure that you should put on. But you should go to the driver's side door, open it up, and you're going to see a little chart like this. And it gives you a lot of good info right here. So it's going to tell you on your car that here's the size of the tire that she got, and it's going to say how many pounds per square inch. So here on the front, it says 34, I hope you can read that. It's 34 psi. So that's pounds per square inch. The rear is the same, 34. And the spare, you can see there, is at 60. So what I'll do now is show you how to check the pressure in the tires, and they should all be 34. Car's cold, been sitting here for hours. If you drive a car, you should get one of these. This is used to check the pressure in the tire. Put this part on the valve stem after you take the cap off, and you'll get a reading by this part. Oops. This part will shoot up. Okay. She needs 34 pounds per square inch. So you can see where the 35 is. So if I'm that high, that's about 37 pounds. So it needs to, try this. Well, hang on. Needs to be about right here. So 30, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see there's the 5. And you could do this a couple times. If you put air in and you get too much air in, use this side of this tool to push on the valve stem to let air out. Now when you look at a valve stem, you'll see a little needle in there, and that's what This pushes the needle in so air can go in. This pushes the needle in so air comes out, so you can get the right pressure. There's other types of gauges that you can buy that are digital, and I don't know, I just have one of these in the glove box of every car, and they've worked for me great so far. So let's check the first tire. It's not that high. Okay, air pressure's at 42 almost. Crazy high. I don't know why they're so high. Hang on, I'll show you how to get it right. So to release some air, take this end of the tool, you stick it in there and you'll hear it. Hear the air come out. Let enough air out till you get to the right pressure. Taking readings and you'll kind of figure out how much comes out each time, and eventually you should get to the right pressure. So take it slow at the end and get it right on that 34 or whatever you're trying to get it to, depending on your car. Okay, tire pressure's all checked, all good to go, all 4 of them. Didn't check the spare. Car's relatively new to her, and it was supposed to be checked. So another thing I was asking her, she had a problem with her gas filler wouldn't open, and I asked her where her fuses were, and she didn't know. So here she is in the car, steering wheel. Right here by the steering wheel it says fuse and OBD. OBD is onboard diagnostics. It's where they plug a computer in to get codes. But you're also going to find fuses in here. So you can see fuses go here, and all kinds of fuses up in there. And you should have something, or you can find something online to find out what each one of these fuses go to. They're color coded based on their amperage. So red, you can see blue, white, green, etc. So those have different capacities, and when you change them, you have to be sure to change the exact same one. Sometimes, oh, here it is. So I was going to say, sometimes on the inside of these panels, they have a little chart for you, which helps you figure out what goes where. Oops, upside down. See that? So you can see there's the AC and door locks and the sunroof and all kinds of things. Okay, if you know what's gone out, if your lamp on the inside's gone out, you want to pull out that interior lamp one right there. It says it's a 15 amp fuse. It's going to be the middle one on the right side. We should be able to find it right there. You can see the middle one is blue. So blue is going to be a 15 amp. And usually I'll pull those out. I use like forceps or a little needle nose. And sometimes they actually come with a little tool that has a little clip that you can pull them out. I don't see the tool yet, but if I can find, sometimes there's fuses in other places also, like your glove box or under the hood, and I'll check for that. Oh, one more thing. So the OBD part is where if you go to the service station or technician, you can actually buy these too. It's not a bad thing to have if you work on cars a lot. But they plug in a module in here and then run the car, and it'll say like A15 or different types of codes, or C33, and that all means something, and you can look that up to see exactly what's wrong or where the problem's originating in your car. Good to know, good to have, or good to know somebody that has one. Once you get the codes, you can look them up to see what's going on. Very handy. Okay, you want to open the hood. Some cars are different. Look for a little symbol like this. Obviously, hood open. Pull that. It's going to release the hood, and there's probably going to be a secondary latch. I've never opened this car's hood before, but that's usually how it works. So I could hear it open, so let's go check it out. Okay, we'll learn as we go. So come up to the front of the car. You're going to try to lift the hood up. Not going to come up. Generally, you're going to find a latch in here. Almost always goes up. So I'm just going to feel around with my fingers. If I feel something, I can lift it up with my fingers. And it was this thing right here. Get the hood open. Okay, a couple basic things in a car engine that everybody should know. This is your battery. Battery has two terminals like most batteries. This is the negative, that's the positive. You're gonna jump a car. If you're gonna jump a car, you need to know the right sequence to hook up the terminals. If you've never done it before, you should probably watch a video on it before you try. I'm willing to bet 100%. So yeah, I got this cover off, more fuses, another map for you so you know what they do. Kind of a look at that. So you can see these different fuses. Let me see if they have a fuse puller in here. This might be one. Yeah, I kind of had to wrestle that out. But yeah, this thing here is used to pull the fuse out. So it's very convenient. You pull one out that won't do anything bad. Okay. You can see here I've got a windshield wiper. Do that. And the reason I'm saying that is because I don't want to pull out like the clock or something that she would have to reset. So windshield wiper is second down, 25 amp. You gotta go over here, it's pretty tight, and stick this thing on the fuse. See if you can see that. It's so hard to do when I'm looking through the thing. Anyway, so now just pull straight out. Now I have her fuse here. Now to check a fuse, you see that wire there in the middle? I don't know if that's better or worse. That wire there that you can see will be this wire. It'll break, it'll melt. It'll melt after 25 amps. So this little fuse looks good. So I'm just gonna return it just like I did by pushing it straight, straight in where I pulled it out. But you can buy fuses anywhere. Not a brain surgery to get them in and out. Just be careful and don't screw them up and put the wrong one in the wrong place. Okay, I'm just gonna push it back in. I kind of pushed it about halfway because then I got to get this clip off. So I'm gonna use the clip, push it the rest of the way down, and give it a good push. It should be flush with all the others. Okay, so that's fuses. A couple other things that are pretty easy to do on your own. I'm not going to do hers right now because I'm limited with time. Like I said, it's not even my car. But your air filter is going to be in there. These clips come off. Pop those off. There's probably some other ones on the other side. You'll see the air filter in there. You can buy them. They're cheap. There'll probably be some bugs and stuff in there, so you want to clean all that out. Get yourself a new filter, or get a K&N filter that you can reuse like I've done. And pretty simple stuff. Now this looks like her brake fluid. So you can check the brake fluid here. Pull that off. There's usually a fill line over here on the side. I don't know if you can see that, but it says max. So that'd be as high as you could fill the brake fluid in there. And since she's going on a trip, I'm going to top this off and get this right up to this line. And make sure you put the cap back on, and that's her brake fluid. Good to go. One more shot of where this brake fluid goes. And a lot of times these get so dirty it's really hard to see these lines. But there's a line down here that says minimum. So the brake fluid, if heat goes below that, you're in trouble. So you want your brake fluid up to where the maximum is, and that's the line right here. You can barely see it. Maybe if I get it dirty, but there's a line there, and it looks like her fluid is to right there. So she's well above the minimum, but below the maximum. So it could be topped off. And you just don't want to put too much in there. She's probably fine, but just a little bit doesn't hurt. Okay, oil. Somewhere in your car, you're gonna have a stick like this. It might be orange, it might be some other color, but you need to pull this out, and you can see the oil level on the stick. But the first time you pull it out, it's dirty, so you need to clean it, reinsert it all the way, and then read the oil. Okay, so I'll show you. I'm pulling it out like this. And like I said, I'm going to clean it off. Let me clean it. Okay, I totally cleaned it. Although this one almost looks a little stained. Not focusing on there, but see those two dots? So that's the minimum oil at the bottom, max oil at the top. This thing is completely dry right now. So you just insert it back in the same hole all the way down. Like that. Push it all the way in. Now I'm going to pull it back out. Try not to drip on our car. And if I can focus, I can see that her oil actually looks really high. I don't know why it's way above that line. Should be between the dots. I will double check it again, but yeah, that would concern me. I'd almost want to drain some oil out. That's a whole nother video. Can you see that? Yeah, the wet part's up to my finger. It should only be wet to there. So there's too much oil in this car, which is not good. We'll check, we determined there's too much oil, which means I'd have to go underneath the car, loosen the screw, the bolt on the oil pan, and drain some of the oil out, if not all of it. The oil looked clean. In other words, it wasn't real dirty and grimy. It looked more like oil that just came out of a can, which is good because this car just recently got sold to her. And so I'm sure they changed the oil. They filled the oil through this cap here. So you simply unscrew that. And this is where you want a funnel. Or just be a very careful pourer, but the oil goes in there, and like I say, it comes out underneath the car in the oil pan. And if you don't know what that is, I wouldn't suggest just picking them. But you can hear that click, meaning this is tight. It says the owner's manual. It also tells you the weight of the oil. So it's 520. So when you buy oil, you want 520 oil. It's pretty simple. They're all marked. Everything used to be 30 weight, but now they've gone a lot lower in these new cars. So that's the type of oil she needs. Like I said, I'll probably drain some out. I can't do it today, but I will do it soon. Other things in here is where you put your water for your windshield wiper. You just fill it up as high as, until it comes up here. Put some clean water in there. You can also use some cleaning fluid if you have it handy. And this is an overflow for your radiator fluid and coolant. And you can see it also has full and low marks, and she is above full. But of course the car is cold and this is an overflow. Guessing that's probably all right. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong on that this should be drained as well. I mean, I would actually probably just suction it out from here to get it to the full line. I mean, I don't know why you would fill it over. But the normal radiator cap is here. And you can also kind of push down on that. It's kind of like a child-proof cap. And you only want to do this when your car is cold, because if if you did this when the car is hot and you took this off, you're gonna get hurt. Hot water will shoot out of here. It's under high pressure. But when it's cold, it's not. And you can see here that once again she's really full. So normally it's about an inch or inch and a half below the neck, and you can see that hers is literally right up to the neck. So whoever topped off the fluids on this car was a little over eager. That's about it for this video. I'll wrap it up. Hey everybody, try to wrap up this video about some car basics. I had done a wrap up in the garage, and when I came home and listened to everything, the audio was bad. I hope you learned a little bit about cars today. You should be able to check a lot of these things yourself. Know the difference in a tire and a wheel, how to check your tire pressure is very easy. Pulling your fuses, finding out if a fuse is bad, which fuse it is, how to replace it, pretty easy. Ask me questions if I wasn't clear on any of those points. Where to hook up your OBD or the computer, where they get the codes, that's pretty important. Look under your hood if you've never done so. Open up the hood, look under there, figure out where your battery is, where the windshield wiper fluid goes, how to check your brake fluid. Air filter, super easy. You can do that yourself. Radiator fluid, like I said, just be cautious on that and make sure you put in the right mixture of water and radiator fluid. Your battery is pretty easy to check. All these things you should know how to do. Even if you don't want to do them yourself, it's good to know how to do them if you need to, if you're stuck on the road, something like that. You know, I learned a lot of these things back in the day. I've even rebuilt transmissions and, well, not transmissions, but engines, and had to pull engines. And I just did it because I didn't have the money to pay anyone to do it. So you can learn these things pretty easy. Cars today don't have as many, you know, points, plugs, condensers, timing lights, a lot of those things that we used to do, we don't do anymore. There's so many computerized components, but a lot of these things are pretty basic. Hopefully you learned something and you'll feel a little bit more confident. Ask any questions you have below, and I'll be sure to get to them as soon as I can. Thanks for watching. So, what do clowns fill their car up with? Laughing gas. Dad out.